Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been 118 days since my last confession. An elderly man peeked through the bar window of the wall separating priest from confessor. Looking puzzled, the young woman with dark hair and pale skin that sat on the other side of the wall. "Alarm checks. What brings you to Lowell's house?" asked the priest. "The devil's in me, Father. He's in everything I do," replied the woman. "The devil can only do what the Lord permits," said the priest. "Why does the Lord allow him to torment me?" asked the woman. "Even Jobe was tested," answered the priest. "Jobe didn't have to hear the voices." To that, the woman left. "Save your sermon on Sunday so I can sleep." Raven walked the streets of Kansas City in the dead of night in her signature black hood, head low to the ground and feet silent against the pavement. Kansas City isn't exactly the place I saw myself 5 years ago, but as far as isolation goes, it has its perks. Isolation and silence, those are the things Raven valued most. When she slept at night, she heard whispers inside her head, whispers of a devil. "I was so white, Raven awakened in a sweat. I no longer feel nightmares. When I wake up, it's worse. Raven sat in the diner, clinging to a cup of hot chocolate as the rain outside pounded on the pavement. Sometimes I think about my mother, what was going through her mind when she married my father, when she gave birth to me. Did she know I would lead this kind of life, or did she hope for something better? Suddenly, a loud explosion erupted outside and shattered the window. Glass went flying every which way, but Raven was protected by the great barrier of the dark energy she projected over herself. She stood up and looked out to see a woman with waving black hair and fire looking down her body, but one thing betrayed the fury that came from the fire, the look of horror on the woman's face. Raven was no stranger to the pain, the hardship. As an infant, she felt it all, the loneliness, the fear, the greed, the pride, the lust, the envy. Pain was part of the human experience. You can even say pain was a necessity, but the only thing she felt from this woman was fear. Raven climbed out the window and approached the woman at the center of the inferno, her blunt hand stretched out as she cried out, "Don't come any closer!" Out of respect, Raven came to a halt. "I'm not going to hurt you," Raven assured her. "It's not me I'm worried about," replied the woman. "Your powers are tied to your emotions. You need to get them under control. This neighborhood is going to become one big pile," said Raven. The brunette clapped her hands to her head and closed her eyes shut. "I just want the burning to stop." The fire around the woman grew in scope. Police appeal, firefighters, escalation. Raven needed to get her away from all that. Somewhere safe, somewhere quiet. "I'm coming closer," said Raven. "No, don't!" yelled the woman. Raven felt the flames against her body, but she fought it, producing another barrier of dark energy as she marched with purpose towards the frightened and damaged woman, a mirror image of her own struggles. Fate had a funny way of showing his hand. Raven got close and lowered the barrier. The woman fell forward and Raven caught her. Then the woman became unhinged and began to weep in Raven's shoulder. Raven simply allowed her to sob. What else could she do? Raven felt her pain, her fear, all of it. It never stopped. "I'm getting you out of here," said Raven. Before the police could reach them, Raven levitated in the air with the woman in her arms and fled the scene. Police want what this woman needed right now. Understanding was. Raven took her to a small apartment complex she had rented in the city, placing the woman on the couch and tending to her wounds, healing the burn marks on her hands and arms as the woman choked back tears. "Why are you helping me?" asked the woman. "Is there a reason I shouldn't?" Raven asked back. The woman clenched her fist and pulled at her now reconstructed skin. "What's your name?" asked Raven. "Syra," the woman answered. Raven managed a well smile. "I'm Raven. Are you hungry?" Syra only nodded as Raven stood up and went to the fridge, heating up some beans and giving it to the woman. It was only then Raven noticed the glint of silver in her eyes as she sat back down across from Syra. "You're not a freak," Raven assured her. "The term for it is meta-human, if I had to guess. Dormant in your sheet until a certain age. Is fire the only thing you can do?" "I hear whispers," replied Syra. Raven froze. "Voices," said Syra. "Telepath," replied Raven. "Why did this have to happen to me?" asked Syra. "I just want to be normal." Raven said nothing though she could relate, but what was normal? "Do you have anyone I can contact?" asked Raven. "My friend Owlet," said Syra. "Boyfriend?" asked Raven. "She's a woman," Ashley explained Syra. "You have a contact?" asked Raven. Syra only nodded as she handed Raven her phone. Raven took it and called the number, but all they got was a voicemail. "You don't know me, but I'm with your friend Syra," explained Raven. "She needs you. I'm at 1282 West Engage." Raven then hung up and gave the phone back to Sarah. She's likely working now, says Sarah. Don't worry, you can stay here until she picks you up, replied Raven. I have a spare bed. Thank you, says Sarah weakly. Another well smile graced Raven's lips. Don't mention it. Sarah soon went into the spare bedroom and shifted off to sleep. Raven stood in front of her window, staring up at the night sky, feeling restless, not wanting to go to sleep. It wasn't a nightmare she felt, it was what lurked beneath them. I'm not yours, and Raven's eyes bled red.